Labor Day weekend. How'd that happen? Good Lord, where did the summer go? But here we are, and we've got 4 new movies and 1 classic, plus the Schlocketeer stops by.
Allegedly.
As far
Are either one of these any good?
Wow, this is a good movie.
It's pretty good.
Well, the director from yesterday doesn't think so.
It stinks.
He's sorry. You waste our film.
It's so bad.
Yeah, big weekend, unofficial end of summer, and of course, college football starts. We're a little excited. Go Bucks! But yeah, we've got some. The quantity is down this week because I think the last 2 weeks both we've had 10 movies. Haven't we?
Well, for a couple of weeks we did. Yeah, quality is pretty good though.
Quality is pretty good this week,
Yeah.
And so, well, I guess we'll mention before we hit the new ones that Jaws is back on the big screen in many theaters around the country. Not only the regular Jaws, which is good enough,
Right.
one of our all-time favorite movies. I've seen it probably as many times, or if not more, than any movie I've ever seen. And it's funny because for a long time you had never seen it on the big screen.
No, I'd seen it on TV hundreds of times,
Yeah.
but it was in the last decade or so the first time I saw it on the big screen. But neither of us have ever seen it 3D IMAX.
Yeah.
So
They're
that's the
bringing
plan
it
for
back.
tonight.
I love the fact that over the last several years they've been bringing it back pretty much every year.
Usually around 4th of July.
Yeah, usually around 4th of July. But of course,
Those
this
beaches
year
will be open.
this year, the 50th anniversary, which is amazing to me. Because if you haven't heard me drone on, I saw some of it being filmed. My family was on a vacation in Martha's Vineyard in '74 when it was being filmed. And then we went to see it first day of the next year. So a lot of history of Jaws.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. Yeah, like you said, back on the big screen, there's IMAX versions and 3D versions. And as we film this, we are planning on hitting the 3D version later tonight.
Yes, we are.
So yeah, we're going to need a bigger boat and a bigger screen for Jaws. So if it's in your area, enjoy an all-time classic. But let's get to the big screen and the new ones this week.
First up in theaters, burned-out ex-baseball player Hank Thompson unexpectedly finds himself embroiled in a dangerous struggle for survival amidst the criminal underbelly of 1990s New York City, forced to navigate a treacherous underworld he never imagined. Latest from Darren Aronofsky, it's Caught Stealing.
This is one of those that the trailer might fool you.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people stay away from trailers, and I get it because some trailers just give away too much.
Yes.
I get that. But this movie, well, first of all, the first time I saw the trailer, I never in a million years imagined it was a Darren Aronofsky movie.
No,
not at all. But it is.
It is. And it's a funny idea. He's, on the one hand, it seems like he's made like really wildly varied films, from Requiem for a Dream to Noah, about Noah's Ark, right? To like The Wrestler. But you would never, I think, refer to anything he's ever made as Madcap, which is kind of what the trailer gives you this vibe. Austin Butler he's a washed-up baseball player. He's a very good-looking alcoholic, and he is in New York wasting his life bartending and trying to get more commitment from his girlfriend, played by Zoe Kravitz. And he cat sits for his like punk rock neighbor, played by Matt Smith, pretty hilariously, whenever he is needed. And in this particular time, Matt Smith leaves Russ. He leaves the States. He goes back to London to see his dad at the very moment where he is supposed to do something else. And everybody else who comes looking for Russ finds Austin Butler, whose name is Hank. And he has no idea what any of them want. They're sure he does. And so it's just one of those sort of almost a mistaken identity kind of films. There's, characters coming out of the woodwork. There's explosions and fisticuffs and it's very zany in that way and a lot of action. And that is all, I think, for me to see that in an Aronofsky movie was fun. It's much more loose and funny than anything I've seen him do.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, having him direct a film like this makes the movie very different. Like there are certain shots that another director wouldn't have taken. The first time Austin Butler's character gets beaten up really badly, you see him laying there and you realize that there is a pool of piss underneath of him. And then you realize there is blood flowing into that. And the next thing you know, his kidney has been removed because that's the kind of beating they took at the hospital. And it's just such an interesting tone shift in this movie that it is like glamorous and good looking people doing crazy things and getting away from these wild monsters. but at the same time, there is a darkness to it, and I really think that makes the movie richer, and it definitely makes it more surprising because there are things that are going to happen. This is going to take turns that you did not. I know I did not expect, and I thought that. I think with somebody, it's also got a great cast. Regina Hall,
Regina King.
Excuse me, Regina King.
Yeah.
And Liv Schreiber is great, and Griffin Dunn is a hoot. It's got a great cast, and but I think it's with a different director, it could have been sort of a throwaway piece of fun, and with Aronofsky, it kind of leaves a mark, honestly.
Yeah, darker than you would think, especially from the trailer. It was written by Charlie Huston.
Yeah,
and directed
from
by
his novel.
Yeah, from his novel, and directed by Aronofsky. So yeah, it definitely comes off in the trailer as madcap fun, but has some darker edges. In fact, takes a surprising turn. What, about halfway?
Yeah,
halfway
probably
through?
not quite halfway through, and you're
didn't
like,
expect
oh,
that.
Wow. No.
Yeah, but still, you would call it a thriller with some comedy.
It's an action thriller
with some comedy.
Yeah,
dark comedy.
Yeah.
But one that is, I think, satisfying.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Just
for
might surprise you. So if you think the trailers give away too much, and you think, well, this one has given away too much, it hasn't.
No,
because it hides the kind of movie that it really is. And actually, to be honest with you, I was when I first saw the trailer going back a while ago, I kind of questioned the fact that Austin Butler was in it because his star has risen so high. It seemed to me, before I knew who the director was, kind of a throwaway.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, that was a kind of an interesting, light, zany choice for Austin Butler. And then you look more, oh, okay, he gets to work with Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely there's more going there than you would think. And a great cast, and definitely one that is worth it and satisfying for the crime thriller with some comedy edges to it. And that is Caught Stealing, and it's in theaters now.
A comedy next on the big screen, a tinderbox of competition and resentments underneath the facade of a picture-perfect couple is ignited when the husband's professional dreams come crashing down. It's The Roses.
Yeah, 36 years after the War of the Roses, the classic with Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner, based on a novel, The War of the Roses. So it's actually the second adaptation of that. But I know a lot of people remember that first one. And this one gives it a different spin. First of all, at the top, you've got Olivia Colman and Benedict Cumberbatch. And as I said on TV this morning, we'd watch them read the back of a cereal box.
Yeah, we would.
They are great. They are great with this, really with any material, but they're great with this material because it was written by Tony McNamara. If you don't know his name, he wrote Poor Things and The Favorite, among other things. So the man knows his way around a script and a turn of phrase, and this cast knows how to pull off those turns of phrases. So you've got the two leads at the top, and they're great as a couple. They meet in Britain. They're English, and the introduction to the film is a flashback of 10 years. And I must say, I'm pretty certain it's de-aging effects, and they're pretty nifty.
Yeah,
they really are, because it's a quick, impulsive, very passionate meeting when they get together and begin their relationship. And it's a cute little scene, but yeah, there's some pretty swift de-aging. And then they move to America and start their careers and their family. And we really, the meat of the movie comes when their two kids, a boy and a girl, are preteens. And he has become an architect, Theo, and she, Ivy, she's a sort of a part-time chef, culinary artist. She mainly cooks for the family, but she's so good that they take some of their extra money and they buy this rundown restaurant, and it's only open like 3 days a week out there in the San Francisco Bay Area, seafood place that they call We've Got Crabs. And the food, it's one of those movies that makes you hungry because the food looks fantastic, and it is fantastic, but she only has, it's sort of a part-time deal. But then he designs this big, incredible new building that does look very, very cool. And on the greatest night of his professional life, things go very badly, but an ironic twist, that gives her a springboard to becoming a celebrity chef. And so things get switched, and we jump ahead maybe 3 years later, and she's the breadwinner. She's jet setting. She's famous. He's staying at home and raising the kids with this regimented, competitive style that she doesn't like at all. So that starts the trouble brewing. And their friends certainly notice it. And there's a great supporting cast here, really led by one couple that they're friends with, Andy Samberg and Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon.
They're both great comedic talents, but Kate McKinnon just digs into this character as a woman who doesn't really care about social boundaries and pushes them in an awkward manner for everyone. And yes, it is funny.
She still sings in every movie.
She does. She does. So for the first hour, it's very nice and it's very clever and it's very witty in that oh so British, acerbic kind of way, clenched teeth. Oh no, we're just kidding around type of insults. But then the writer does a very smart thing, and the director, I haven't even mentioned, the director is Jay Roach, a veteran comedy director. Then they inject some good old-fashioned American meanness into this. And it really kind of starts with a dinner party where the two main couple, Ivy and Theo, they're insulting each other in a British way. And the American friends think it's funny and cute. They want to get in on this too. So they insult their partner and it's just mean.
Yeah, blunt instruments.
Really
two,
funny.
yeah.
So he does a great job contrasting those two styles of humor and styles of arguing. And from then on in, it's really funny. And you get a great cameo, one scene from Allison Janney as just a blistering, take no prisoners divorce lawyer.
She's somebody else who just,
Oh, yeah.
she is such a gift to every movie she's in.
Yeah. And she leaves a mark. And it's really almost the line of demarcation between when it makes that shift to, for me, becoming laugh out loud funny. For the first hour, it's very nice and witty. And yeah, you're smiling and it's amusing. And then it gets really, really funny because that's when the actual war begins. As they're fighting for the house, the dream house. They're still sort of sharing the house and they're warring within the house. So yeah, it's pretty funny and a nice update. Also, if you remember the first one, and you don't have to, this stands on its own. Right. It really does. It stands on its own. And if you haven't seen the first one, you may be tempted to go back and look it up. But if you have, and you remember the ending of the first one, this one twists it a little bit that you'll probably appreciate. Finds its way to make its own mark. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. Olivia Colman can pretty much do no wrong. Benedict Cumberbatch is right there too. Also, it's nice to see her in a flirty kind of, I mean, they talk a lot about sex, the couple does. There's not really any big sex scenes, but they're very flirty and very sexual with their banter. And that's kind of nice to see too in a couple of their age. Yeah. So thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed The Roses. Very funny, especially that last half hour. So we would definitely recommend this one. And it is on the big screen right now.
Also in theaters, a horrible toxic accident transforms downtrodden janitor Winston Goose into a new evolution of hero, the Toxic Avenger.
Yeah, buddy. Been waiting a while.
Yes. So this one has taken 2 years to come out. And the distribution, I'm not sure exactly what it was that caused the delay in distribution, but I felt every minute of those 2 years. Every minute.
You're checking.
I know. Is it out yet? I was excited about this from the very first time I heard it. First, Macon Blair, which you probably know. I mean, you do. You know him better as an actor from Blue Ruin and Green Room and a lot of other things. He has made one other film, which was a little indie gem. World anymore. That's not right. I've got that wrong. I don't feel at home in this world anymore. But he has such a like. His adaptation of the 84 Trauma classic has such a joyous affection for the source material and for trauma that he's not trying to correct anything, you know? And if you are a fan of Trauma, and if you're a fan of the original series, really, because there's a ton of Toxic Avenger movies and whatnot, this is not a remake industry that they're poking fun at, and the themes have changed a bit, but there are so many Easter eggs throughout this movie, and it's really fun to look for them and to listen to them. But more than that, it's just a really funny, sloppy, violent,
sloppy
movie, and Peter Dinklage, who is amazing in all things he's ever been in his entire life. Peter Dinklage is such a great actor, and he plays not Melvin, but Winston, and he's got a stepson whose mother has passed away, and he's very all right, doesn't really know what he's doing, and he's a janitor at Kevin Bacon's big factory where he makes health and wellness schlock. And so he's trying to figure out what to do with his life, Winston is, and he thwarts a murder, and he winds up in this barrel of plastic, actually this sort of big swamp plastic of toxic goo that's run off from the factory, and he comes out as, of course, with superpowers and some mutations. And then from there on, of course, he's fighting crime, and he's funny. It's so funny. It's smart. It's funny. The entire cast is great. So it's not just him and Tremblay and Kevin Bacon, but also Taylor Page.
Oh yeah,
she's great.
She's great. I always love to see her in things, and I was actually surprised that she pops up in this, and I'm glad she's down for it.
Yeah.
Because she's great. The cast is great. You're right. It does have a joy to it.
Yeah.
That is, it's really, really funny, because you're I'm really not a fan as much. The trailer of this, I was in, and I thought it was so much fun. And that's another, we could keep going back to trailers this week.
Yeah.
But it's really easy. It's really easy to figure out if you're going to like this movie. Watch the trailer.
Yes. Do it.
If that appeals to you, then it's a lot more of that. And if you think that is fun and funny, then there's going to be plenty that delivers on what it promises.
Yeah, because it's still very juvenile and silly, and incredibly violent. But at the same time, I think it does disregard a lot of the just nastier, needless elements of trauma that you just find yourself sitting through, regardless of the fact you'd rather not have to deal with them. And instead really focuses on the things that are just more joy. But it's a very hard flavor of comedy. I mean, you have to, you don't necessarily expect somebody of Peter Dinklage's, like a master thespian, but he's owns it. And Taylor Page is perfect.
Oh yeah, the whole cast is all in.
Oh yeah.
Have we mentioned Elijah Wood?
Oh right, Elijah Wood,
looking like
the Joker from,
the
Penguin from Batman 2.
Yeah, Macon Blair, who also is a trauma legend, but really, Macon Blair has just a handle on the tone.
He does.
He gets it 100% right, I think, to make this appeal to the trauma fans, and maybe those like me who aren't as down with the classic trauma, but are ready for a treatment like this. We both thought it was just totally entertaining.
Yes.
And I think as long as I mean, it
I can't wait to see it again.
It delivers what it promises.
It does.
It totally does.
It does. And it's not very long, so stick around, because they come back after the movie's over. They revisit it several times, and they make some funny promises at the very end.
Yeah, you have to see it. If you're going to see it, please see it on the big screen, because at the end, they promise something about the sequel that we don't want to give away. I know it's out there. I've seen people post and everything, but they make some hefty promises about the sequel if this raises enough money, and I hope it does, because I want those promises fulfilled. But if you can't tell, we really enjoy the Toxic Avenger, and it's on the big screen and all its gooey wonder.
And a mystery drama after their mother suffers a fatal overdose. Two sisters fear that the foster system will separate them and decide to hide the body. But their lie may be discovered, and they must decide how far they are willing to go. What We Hide.
What We Hide, starring McKenna Grace, who we've said before we love. We made a video a couple of months ago about our top 10 favorite celebrity interviews that we've done, because we've done quite a few, and she's in there.
Yeah,
we interviewed her for the first Ghostbusters movie, and she was a delight. A delight. And now she's moving into the adult type roles, because she's older now, as it happens. And this has her giving another good performance, which she almost always does. Yeah,
she really does. She's been very impressive since she was a really small kid. I remember seeing her in Gifted opposite Chris Evans when she was, 7 or something, and she was just wonderful.
Yeah, she's a natural.
That's exactly what she's very natural. Yep. She's natural in everything. And in this film, she plays Spider, the 15-year-old sister to a younger girl. And they, in the opening scene, the two sisters are standing and witnessing the overdosed corpse of their mother. And Spider realizes that if they go the traditional route and calling the police that she and her sister will be separated. And so she decides they're not going to do that, and they hide the body. And what we hide, of course, it's a metaphor for all kinds of things, and the whole film is sort of a, I think, a look at the opioid epidemic. And there are some great performances in this movie. So not just McKenna Grace, the little girl, her sister is played by JoJo Regina, but also Jesse Williams plays the sheriff, and Forrest Goodluck from The Revenant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a great name, by the way, Forrest Goodluck.
He's also, he's been in a lot of stuff since then, but he plays sort of a love interest, and he's wonderful in this movie. Well, the supporting cast is really very solid, and there are some moments where something interesting seems like it's going to happen. Unfortunately, there's the writer-director, whose name is Dan Kay. He's just too a little bit movie of the week with this, a little bit after school special almost. He veers so rarely from what you're expecting to see, and the direction itself, the way things are framed and the movement of the camera, is very plotting and ordinary. Like the dialogue is very clunky and unnatural. It's elevated by the natural chemistry between the two sisters. They're really wonderful together on screen. Really, really good. A couple of great performances. And but it just, you're never curious as to how things will turn out, which makes the movie feel just much too tidy and a little too, I don't know, maudlin.
Well, it strikes me as something that maybe, and this is a streamer, by the way.
It is.
This strikes me as something that may be better appreciated by young adults who maybe haven't seen as many movies and maybe don't quite immediately know what's going to happen and recognize all these plot beats. So maybe, and this is a streamer, so it's easier for them to get at it. And with a younger actress, McKenna Grace, so it may be better appreciated. But for adults who have seen a lot of movies, it's not going to do a lot of things that will surprise you. But the performances are good, and that's definitely worth something.
It's one of those movies where you feel like everybody's heart's in the right place.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
There's just nothing new to see here, and the execution is not interesting.
Yeah, because for sure, since the opioid crisis has broken out, there's been more than a few movies about it, and this one just doesn't have a lot of insight that we haven't already seen.
No.
But you're right. It's well intentioned. Heart is in the right place, just certainly not breaking any new ground.
No.
And it's on streaming. I think just Prime Video for this one, right? And it is. I always love to see McKenna Grace though, and that is called What We Hide. And those are the big ones. Those are the ones. We got the 4 new ones we talked about, and then of course Jaws, which is back on the big screen. So what about, is the Schlocketeer in the house?
He's not in the house. You want to jump ahead to next week just in case he shows up a little late?
Yeah.
All
we
right.
can jump ahead to next week, where we've got The Conjuring Last Rites.
Yes.
Which is I've lost track, 4th? 5th?
I think it's the 4th one, and it's alleged of the actual proper Conjuring films, and it's alleged to be the last one.
Okay.
Of course, there are a lot of spin-offs, so I guess it's hard to say which ones do you think are proper canon and which is a spin-off. But
all right, so that leads the pack. That leads the pack next week.
Also, I know this is the one you're going to want to go see is Hamilton, an American musical.
Yeah. Now, if you're like me and have seen it already, remember it came out on Disney Plus a couple of years ago. Well, now they are bringing it back to the big screen, and it's a great experience and I thought it was a great adaptation of making something on the stage
feel cinematic,
which is tough.
Yeah,
which is tough to do, and of course it's a great musical. So yeah, that'll be fun to see on the big screen. Also, one I've never heard of called Cut.
And Splitsville.
Yeah,
we've been looking forward to this one for a long time.
Yeah, definitely been looking forward to Splitsville because the trailer looks good. Also, Lurker, I've been looking forward to that one as well.
Yep. Somnium, which I'm actually going to watch today,
and one called Everything to Me. Okay. So that's next week. But what do you think about this week? We've got The Roses, Caught Stealing, The Toxic Avenger, and What We Hide. We always love to keep the conversation going anytime on... Schlocketeer is here. Okay, let's not wrap it up because we want to get Schlocky. There he is.
Hey.
All right.
We were quicker than usual today because the last few weeks it's been 10 movies and it was only 4 this time. So we were like, are we going to be done before he's here?
I had technical difficulties, but I made it.
That's okay.
Good to see you.
Okay. Yeah. Glad you're here. Heading into Labor Day weekend with some studio news and notes. What's going on?
Well, first we're going to start off with a bunch of genre stuff and then segue into award season fare. So just kind of like the fall will play out in general.
Yeah.
First up, Finn Wolfhard's slasher comedy Hell of a Summer is finally hitting streaming. It's now available on Hulu. And Alex Garland's Warfare will be available to stream on HBO Max beginning September 12th.
Enjoyed that, but it's an experience.
Yeah, it's intense.
It is intense.
Less intense is Chuck Russell's Witchboard remake, which is hitting VOD on September 16th.
That's a very diplomatic way of saying it.
And then Sydney Sweeney's crime flick Americana hits VOD on September 19th. So if anyone wanted to see that in theaters and missed it, you don't have too much longer to wait. September 19th, we'll also see the streaming premiere of Shudder's new slasher flick, Night of the Reaper. And then on October 10th, the latest film from Psycho Gorman director Steven Kostanski is hitting theaters, courtesy of Shot Studios, and that is a reboot of the 80s fantasy series Deathstalker.
Okay, well, just based on PG, which I loved, I'm in.
Yep.
Right, same. Netflix has a new Keira Knightley thriller that they're premiering on October 10th called The Woman in Cabin 10. And then Hulu has set an October 22nd premiere for their Micah Monroe and Mary Elizabeth Winstead starring remake of The Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
Oh,
Nice.
I see.
It's a good pairing there.
It
That's
is.
fun.
Yeah.
And then Nia DaCosta has a new drama called Hedda, which will premiere on Amazon Prime on October 29th. It's also getting a limited theatrical run earlier in October, but I'm not sure on the exact date on that.
Cool.
Disney and Searchlight Pictures have set an initial limited theatrical release on December 18th for Bradley Cooper's latest directorial effort, Is This Thing On?, with a wider run to follow as award season carries out.
Yeah, just saw the trailer for
Yeah,
that for the first time a couple of days ago. Yeah, it looks interesting.
Yeah. And then Mubi has set a December 24th theatrical release for Jim Jarmusch's Father, Mother, Sister, Brother. It's a mouthful of a title for you.
I'm so excited about that. I got to see him in a local screening of one of his films over the summer, and he was talking about that movie and the cast of that movie, which is completely insane, and I cannot wait to see it.
Yeah, just a taste of the cast that has Kate Blanchett, Vicky Krieps, Adam Driver, Charlotte Rampling, Tom Waits, of course, and then a bunch more people as well.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
stacked. That's
Yeah.
loaded.
And then closing things out, A24 will release Josh Safdie's Timothy Chalamet starring sports comedy Marty Supreme in theaters on December 25th.
Nutty.
Christmas Day release.
That's right.
All right. You can always catch up with the Schlocketeer Daniel Baldwin at the Schlocketeer on the socials. Appreciate that. Have a great weekend.
You too.
All right. Looking ahead to what we talked about, looking ahead to next week. So in the meantime, what do you think? We always love to keep the conversation going. You can find us MaddWolf Columbus on pretty much all the socials, of course, on YouTube and on where are we? We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Blue Sky, we're on Threads, we're on TikTok, and everywhere.
Yeah.
And always love to talk about the movies. So and even trailers, which we've been talking about. We've been talking about a lot this week. I still do enjoy trailers, but I was happy to hear of the plans, at least for, I think AMC has said they're going to cut down the pre-show, because I don't need to see that many.
Well,
let's cut down from a half an hour to maybe 15 minutes.
I think the problem with AMC is that it's 20 minutes of trailers and 20 minutes of commercials for AMC.
Yeah, that too.
There's at least 3 separate spots to tell you to go see movies at the AMC, and I'm already sitting here.
I'm already there. That is very true. But even though I like trailers, 3, maybe 4 tops. Can we do that and just put a capper on it? So we'll talk about that too. Anyway, find us. Have a great holiday weekend. We'll talk again next week. And until then, she is Hope Madden.
He's George Wolf.
And this is the Screening Room Podcast.
See ya.
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner. Bye.